Racer TV. My name is Rachel Ayers.
And I'm Jason Wygant.
We're here in Crawfordsville, Indiana for the Klotz Ironman GNCC. This is the final round of the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. And Jason, we had David Knight join us here from the UK. We expected him to take everybody by storm, and it proved to be a little more difficult than he thought.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people would expect that he would have this championship wrapped up already long before we got to this final round. But the way the ball's bounced, he has to finish 12th today to win the title. Pretty much odds are he will do it, but it's been a lot more difficult than he thought coming here to the U.S. He's had some bad luck and some stiff competition. So Knight still has a little bit of pressure to deal with today to knock down that championship.
Well, in regards to all of our other championships, a lot of the classes haven't wrapped up, but everyone loves to come to this track. There's a special magic about this place. What's going on here this weekend that makes it so special? Yeah,
the racetrack is great, and everybody wants a shot at it. It kind of takes all the elements we race on all year long and throws them into one loop, so that's fun. And then off the track, it's like a carnival. They've got demo rides and displays set up, people showing 2008 and 2009 bikes. It's so good that BMW has brought in a prototype bike that probably won't be available until 2009, and they're going to race it here. We've never seen it before in the U.S., but it's just another example of how everyone wants to compete here at this great event, so we're excited.
Well, Jason, let's go down the start and go GNCC racing.
Well, that's what it looks like from overhead here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC, one of the biggest races in all of off-road racing in all the world. As your points coming in here, you see Charlie Mullins, Jimmy Jarrett, and Garrett Edmiston still battling for third in the series. But Barry Hawk there on the number 2 is the only one that has a shot at knocking off David Knight. There is the Knighter. Sans helmet. We'll have that on later. And Knight basically needs to finish 12th or better no matter what Hawk does. And we're going to go racing here in Indiana. A little bit of pressure on Knighter, but Hawk's really got to win this race. Oh, around the outside. Are you kidding me? Paul Whibley has grabbed the hole shot, the racetrack's hole shot, one of the notorious horrible starters, and he's got himself a good one, though, on that Parts Unlimited Moose Honda 450. Mullins right behind him. And not a bad start for Knighter. And we go back up to the helicopter here. And wow, bumping and banging through this field section. A lot of cornfields out here. You see Mullins dive to the outside and get around Whibley. And now we're into the woods. And Knight, in fact, has moved into the number 2 spot. That helicopter gives you an idea of what the field sections are like. But this is what the majority of the track has in store for these guys. Tight woods, some rocks, lots of up and downs, and a little bit of mud. Not as bad as it was when we raced the ATVs out here. We have not had that much rain overnight, so we're pretty lucky. We thought it'd be a swamp fest. Now Whibley dropping a couple positions. Same thing with Hawk. Not where he needs to be. Obviously, he'd like to get the hole shot and just run away with this and put some pressure on Knight. But right now, the rider doing that is his teammate, Charlie Mullins.
Yeah, it's been a pretty up and down season for me. I think I've had 4 DNFs this year. Just kind of stupid stuff that happens. But I'm ready to go today. Track looks really fun, and hopefully I can end the season with a win.
Well, Mullins has got 2 wins on the season, but yeah, that bad luck has kept him out of the championship chase. Hawk has been solid all year, and he's got a shot at the championship today.
Yeah, I'm not giving up, that's for sure. I mean, it's been a crazy year, and David's had some bad races, likewise I have. So, I mean, anything can happen. I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to go out and try and get a win, and hopefully, I can pull this championship off. I mean, it's a slim chance, but at least it's a chance. So I'm going to give everything, and hopefully everything goes my way today.
Well, there is Hawk right now. Again, Hawk, not a horrible starter. He usually doesn't get the whole shot and just pull away early. He'd rather stay in the fight, stay with these guys, and then late in the race do what he has to do. But on a day like today, he might be better served trying to get in front of Knight, so Knight realizes, I got to at least keep this guy in sight. So we'll see how Hawk plays it today. Here comes Glenn Carney, a tough season for him. He was the one that nearly beat Hawk in North Carolina early in the season. He collapsed at the finish line of exhaustion, has not been the same rider since, and now we hear he doesn't have a ride with FMF Suzuki for next year. So he's searching for a spot. The rider who's really become the leader of that Suzuki squad is Jimmy Jarrett.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty close with me and Charlie and, Glenn and Garrett, but we'll see. This is going to be a pretty tough race, and hopefully I come out ahead.
He's looking to be third in points, Jimmy Jarrett. He needs to finish in front of Mullins by a couple positions to do that. Right now, Knight is the one hanging with Mullins early on. We've seen this happen time and time again this year. These are the two that are not afraid to go fast on the opening lap. Carney now up in the number 3 position as we wait on Hawk. It's still Whibley up there in 4th. Now, Whibley not only doesn't get good starts, but he usually struggles with arm pump on the first lap or two. So even if he does get a good start like he does today, I don't know if he'll run the pace of the leaders early on, but he will be up there later in the race. He usually gets stronger as the day goes on. Now, we see some of the XC2 riders. That's the 4-stroke lights pilots, Thad Duvall and Scotty Watkins, are already up there in the mix, and they started on row number 2. Here's Whibley coming by in 4th, Jared in 5th. And there's Dustin Gibson. He's switched from XC2 to XC1, but Watkins and Duvall, they are lights class riders, and they are right there. Now back to the front, and Knight putting pressure on Mullins. Mullins responding by upping the pace. And again, these two not afraid to go fast early on, and you do not have practice with the GNCCs. It's the first time they've even seen this track, and they're already hauling. Let's go to our Rocky Mountain Tip of the Week.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Rocky Mountain ATVMC Pro Tip of the Week. My name is Aaron, and this week we're going to talk about fasteners. I'm sure every motorcycle and ATV enthusiast out there has had the problem of losing a fastener, not having the proper hardware to replace it. Well, Tusk Off-Road has made it easy with their motorcycle and ATV bolt kits. For starters, the motorcycle bolt kit contains 180 pieces, which include 6mm bolts of all different lengths, nuts, bolts, washers, cotter pins, and almost anything you need to fix your bike. Now let's move on to the ATV kit. Now this kit's a little bit bigger than the motorcycle kit. It's actually 236 pieces, and part of the reason why is along with nuts, bolts, cotter pins, and washers, this kit's actually going to have plastic rivets to repair your plastics, and it's also going to have universal lug nuts for tapered and non-tapered wheels. Now these big kits are perfect for your toolbox, but if you want something you can take on the trail, Tusk Off-Road has your solution. And that's in our smaller motorcycle specific and ATV specific bolt kits. You can just throw these kits in your pack and hit the trail. And the best part about all these kits is the price, with the large kit starting at just $29.99 and the small kit starting at just $12.99. For more information, go online at RockyMountainATVMC.com or call for a free catalog.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, Yamaha, Moose Racing, and KTM. Back to the action. It's the Klotz Ironman GNCC here in Indiana. Charlie Mullins and David Knight pulling away from the field early on. Not much of a surprise there, but the rider we're looking for is Barry Hawk. He's the one that has a shot at knocking Knight out of the points lead and taking the championship here at the last round of this season. And no sign of the Hawk right now. Mullins with Knight putting the pressure on, and Knight's kind of in a tough spot as well. He has to decide, does he want to go for the win, or does he just want to be consistent and win the championship? It's been a long, tough season for him. He actually still lives over there in the Isle of Man and flies back and forth between Europe and the U.S. for each race. At this point, man, he's got to be feeling the effects of all that travel, and he definitely wants to just make sure he gets that championship for all that hard work. Carney is there in third. Now Mullins into the water and wheeling across it on the Nampro Yamaha. Knight, though, is keeping him in sight. And it looks to me like Knight is not making a concerted effort to try to get the lead right now. So that shows that maybe he is thinking about that championship instead of just trying to get out front and get away with from these guys to win this race. Carney, his best race in a while, is solid in third. Oh, Wibbs is still hanging in there. He is in fourth. So he is able to go pretty darn fast early now that he's gotten the good start. And a lot of those bad starts are because he rides a four-stroke, and it's tough to get those things lit off the line in the dead engine start. Not a problem today for Scott Watkins, who is all the way into the top 5 overall now, despite riding into the XC2 class. He is on a 250, whereas David Knight and Whibley are on 450s, but he's making it work, and Knight has taken the lead as we go back up front from Mullins. So Knight out front, and Mullins right there battling. This is fun to watch. Who's got the better line through this section? They're trying to avoid the deep stuff. Knight's going to follow this big rut to the top, and he makes it work, but here comes Mullins. Oh, and Mullins takes the lead back. Awesome racing there between these two. And that actually might help Knight if you take the focus off the championship and just race for the win and don't even think about points, and I think that's what he's doing right now. He's just thinking about Mullins. Watkins is putting on the race of his life, moving up so far in the ranks on that 250F, but Knight is leading it. We had a chance to sit down and talk to him before today's race.
All right, we're down here with our KTM profile on David Knight. 1 year here in the United States under your belt. Was it fun? What has it been like racing over here?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I'll decide after today.
You do have a championship to win. I know it's tough, and it probably didn't go as easy as you would have hoped.
No, you know, it's all new, and life throws things at you, and it's experience. You know, I've probably learnt a lot quicker this year than what I would have if everything went simple, and I've enjoyed it. It's something new. I'm always wanting to do different things, and coming from World Enduro to this it's totally different. And
Do you feel any pressure knowing that basically you just got to get to the finish line, or is that a pretty easy task?
no,
It hasn't been, has it?
no. After some things this year, I'm just gonna, get off the start and then decide. Then, if there's a chance that I feel comfortable and I can get past the guys without doing anything daft, then I might, I can do it. But if not, I'll just ride around and keep out of trouble and, get to the finish.
Well, it's definitely good having you here. I think the fans appreciate it. KTM certainly does, and so do we. David Knight's got one more thing to do, and that's just finish the race today, and he'll conquer the United States in his first year over here. Good job.
Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, Yamaha, Moose Racing, and KTM. In the pits, Jason Rains of the Ampro Yamaha team is pulling out of this race. Not sure what happened. Rains, we expected to be up front in some of these races this year, but he's had some trouble coming back from injury. Here is Mullins in the Ampro Yamaha pits. He's definitely still racing in the fight to win this race against David Knight, but the real question is, where has Barry Hawk gone? Kind of a surprise here. Hawk not even in the ranks. He must be stuck somewhere out on the track. Let's check in with Justin Williamson. He is our new XC2 Lights class champion.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited. And we actually didn't figure out that I wrapped it up until my buddy Eric Pro. He actually went over the points with me, brought out an Excel spreadsheet, and figured it all out. He's like, "You got it wrapped." I'm like, "No, I don't believe you." So I went over there, checked it out, and yeah, I guess either way it goes, the worst case scenario, I'd still win by 1 point. So yeah, I got it wrapped up.
Yeah, Williamson's happy. A great debut season for that XC2 class. Those are the riders working their way through the ranks on the little bit smaller motorcycles. They've done great this year. Let's go down to the racetrack for Rachel with an update.
Here we are down at the biggest mud hole of the whole entire track. We have this huge hill up here. There's 100 different ways to get up this hill, and they're going all different ways. Give it enough gas, you might make it up. As for our pro riders right now, we have David Knight and Charlie Mullins out there. They're a mile in front of everyone else. But the interesting news is in 3rd, 4th, and 5th places, XC2 riders. They start a minute behind the pro class, and they've actually made their way up to the top of the time. Once you get a 1-minute time adjustment, who knows the position they could make their way up to.
Thanks, Rachel. And there is Scott Watkins, and you see why he's moving up. He is hauling right now, and the same with Thad Duvall, making those 250Fs work for them today. And there's Williamson hanging with them. Again, Williamson's already locked up that championship in that class, but he's hanging tight with those guys to try to win the class today. Here is Nider, and it looks like he's putting some distance now on Mullins. And we don't see Barry Hawk anywhere in the rankings. We've got to get an update and find out what has happened to Barry Hawk. Knight, obviously not feeling any pressure right now. He's decided it's time to go for it, try to take the lead and get away. And here's Mullins trying to hang with him. Now Mullins is going to be switching teams next year, going over to Suzuki from Yamaha. That will be interesting. Williamson is in and out of the pits, keeping that 250 XCF wound out. Trying to keep with those guys, Watkins and Duvall, who are running very fast in this class. There you see Knight, the standard style, feet up on the peg, standing. Mullins sits down through that section, looked about the same on time, but Knight is able to save a lot of energy riding that way. Let's see how Watkins attacks it. Very nice. A little bit different line, though, than either. Woo! And that was Duvall a little out of control. He used the same line as Watkins, not the same line as Knight and Mullins, and that's what Rachel was alluding to. There are hundreds of ways to get through that section. Whoa! And the way that Mullins went through that section was not ideal, but he is able to keep that machine on 2 wheels. Now we finally got the report. Hawk is out with a broken chain. So just like that, it's over. That's a little anticlimactic. There was Knight worried about mechanical troubles maybe preventing him from winning the championship. Instead, the bad luck goes Hawk's way. He's out. So Knight has already got the championship wrapped up, and maybe now we're going to see him go for the win. Maybe that's why he made that pass on Mullins. Suddenly, David Knight realizes the championship is his no matter what. Why not just go for it and try to win this thing? Here's Mullins in 2nd, and Whibley now back up to 3rd. And now we've got to report that Glenn Carney, who was so strong early in this race, well, he broke the throttle housing on his Suzuki when he crashed in one of those fields. So that's what has allowed Whibley back up to 3rd. But Whibley's actually battling with those XC2 class riders. Here is Knight. He's not battling with anyone now. He's pulled clear of Mullins, and he sure looks good for the championship. There have been no doubts of Knight's speed this year. He has had some bad luck, maybe made some bad decisions as he tries to learn how this game works. It's a completely different style of racing from what he was doing over in Europe. But once he figured out the right racing strategy, KTM brought over a new mechanic for him as well. They kept the bike in top running order, and he has been hard to stop ever since. Here's Mullins, not giving up, still trying to run with Knight and trying to get a win. Keep in mind, there's certainly bonus money on the line for these guys so they can win the races. So for Mullins, there's some motivation there. But the people are really cheering for Scott Watkins out here, who is making it work. Now, an XC2 rider has never finished in the top 3 of a GNCC. We've had a couple of 4th place finishes. Thad Duvall right there got one himself in West Virginia, but they've never finished in the top 3. Right now, Watkins is trying to do that. Duvall and Williamson right there with him. Let's see if Whibley can take 3rd overall today, or will he get bumped a position down? Garrett Edmiston, another solid run for him, the privateer out of Florida. He's been great from day 1 of this season, and he's still strong. Here's Carney, who we mentioned, lost some time in the pits with some bike troubles. They got that thing fixed, and he's back out there trying to make his way back to the podium, but it's going to be tough. Knight into the big cornfields in Indiana all by himself, and this has got to feel good. He's on a joyride now with the championship pressure off and leading this thing without Mullins being so close as to, and Knight can even hear him behind him. It's got to be a good, easy day for the big man from the Isle of Man. Now Whibley into the section of the race where he usually excels, and that is late in the game. Very strong. The man out of New Zealand's in great shape. Here's the battle in XC2. Look at this. You got Duvall and Watkins. They're giving those little machines everything they've got wide open through these fields. 1 lap to go for Knight. And this is just a victory lap for him now. Unless Mullins can really step it up here in the final lap, and he definitely will try. The real battle we want to watch, those Lights Riders and Whibley battling for 3rd. It's going to be good in the final lap of the season coming your way. Racer TV is brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, Yamaha, Moose Racing, and KTM.
Here we are in the pits, last lap. KTM just pitted David Knight for the last time of this year. Currently sitting in the number 1 position, over 30 seconds over 2nd place. They're getting ready to pack up, head down in the finish line, and celebrate David's first ever GNCC title.
All right, Rachel, we are here in the pits, and there they are. They're going to gas him up one more time. We take no chances with David Knight in this last lap. They have the luxury, obviously, the championship already being tucked away with Barry Hawk out. And Charlie Mullins is far enough back that they can afford an extra pit stop in this last lap and not lose the lead. That's the kind of dominant speed Knight has shown in the races where things have gone his way. He's comfortable, obviously, riding through this mud and water out here in Indiana. There really hasn't been any terrain this year that has really been difficult for the big man. He has handled sand, he's handled hard pack, he's handled the soft stuff, the rocks, the hills. He's just had some bad luck. And I think once he figured out the strategy of racing GNCC, things started to roll his way. Now, Charlie Mullins, a lot of people are going to put money on him next year to give Knight a run. He showed the speed to do it this year. He had his own bad luck. And remember, Mullins is only 21 years old. Knight is 28. So Mullins has got to learn this game as well. Knight said he'll be back next year. He wants to win 2 titles just like the man he replaced in this series, Juha Salminen, who was our champ in 05 and 06. And here's our 250F rider, Scotty Watkins. Remember, he's being chased by Thad Duvall. Sorry, Chad is Thad Duvall's dad and mechanic. And down in the pits, he put on the board, it's bad Thad time, and that means the last lap. And that's where Thad rides hard. Let's see what he can do. Checkered flag is out, the season is over, and David Knight has won the Ironman GNCC and conquered the U.S. He is your GNCC champion for 2007. And a huge, huge crowd here to help celebrate this championship with the Nighter. And look at that. Daddy Chad was right. It was bad Thad time. He takes the win in XC2. He tracked down Watkins on the last lap, the last mile, in fact, to take that position. Congrats to Paul Whibley taking 3rd overall today. But the Nighter, well, he's king this year. Let's talk to him.
Obviously, yeah, it's a massive weight off my shoulders to win it. And, it's been bit of a bulge up here and there this year, and to win it finally is great. And it's a massive weight off my shoulders, and I can get get to Vegas now and concentrate on his 50 grand bonus.
Well, Knight's going to race the Enduro Cross event in Vegas with 50 grand on the line, but his real goal this year was winning this GNCC title. That's why he came from Europe to the U.S. He needed to finish 12th or better today at the last round of the season to wrap it up, but his main rival, Barry Hawk, broke a chain early and was out, essentially handing Knight the championship whether he finished or not. So then it was odd. Mullins was in the lead, Knight attacked in second and went for the win. Our XC2 riders were in the hunt overall today as well. Eventually, though, Knight was able to get around Mullins and take the lead. The championship pressure was off, and it was on to both being race winner and series champ. Paul Whibley able to get by the XC2 guys for third. Thad Duvall wins the XC2 class. That's our season. For Rachel Ayers, I'm Jason Wygant. It's been a great one. Thanks for watching.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now. Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.